than have been convicted in a court of law. And this represents a fundamental challenge to due process to which all people are entitled under the U.S. Constitution, not only U.S. citizens.
So these are, from my understanding, I mean, in reading the CNN report, that according to some attorneys, that these are young people who they may be undocumented and may have been picked up by ICE already here, undocumented and already living here. They may be here on a legal visa or even have a green card, but according to ICE or with the suspicion of ICE, they have done something maybe that violated immigration laws, or they violated a law which then would violate immigration laws, which is why they can be deported. But you're saying they haven't even been convicted of something.
Well, no, I can't say that without having access to the information. That's precisely why we're seeking the information. All I can say is that the contract that ICE has with the county stipulates that it can hold kids there because ICE believes that they, and I quote, may have committed a chargeable offense. A chargeable offense is very different than a conviction in a court of law. And ultimately, they're being held by ICE, not by our criminal justice authorities. So that's one thing to be concerned about. But the other thing is, if everything, as you just said, is on the up and ups, why doesn't ICE give us the information? We're not seeking personally identifiable information. We're just trying to understand what is the legal basis on which these children are being held.
It's confusing because, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong here, if somebody has broken the law in the United States and they have a green card or they are here legally on a visa, they would still go through the U.S. criminal justice system. They would
Correct.
go to court. They would have certain rights. They would have the ability to have an attorney. You're saying you don't even know if that's happened here. And in ICE's contract,
Exactly.
It could just be ICE encountered these people somehow. We don't know how. Suspects them of, maybe they have a tattoo that indicates, they're part of 18th Street gang or something in Los Angeles, and therefore they can be put in this ICE facility, which is not the U.S. Criminal justice system.
That's absolutely right, and that's the core of our concerns. And that's why we're fighting still for this access to information and why we're dismayed that ICE is forcing us into court to defend our right to simply do our jobs.
CNN spoke to more than a dozen immigration attorneys who described that the agency's detention of minors as a black hole with little oversight or easy access to lawyers who can help them navigate immigration law. Is it clear to you that they don't have, do you even know if they have access to attorneys?
I don't know. That's exactly why what ICE is doing is treating this jail in Washington state and the others like it as black sites where it can hold people for as long as it wants. It doesn't have to report to anyone, and there's essentially no oversight. And those who are seeking information about it are now facing the prospect of going to court. So that's why it's so concerning. And
do we know why these sites don't appear in online maps of ICE detention centers?
I'm not sure why that would be. You'd have to ask ICE.
I mean, have you found traditionally the maps, are pretty accurate? I mean, I guess my question is, some might say, well, maybe it's an oversight or it's suspicious, or how do you view it as odd?
It could be either an oversight or suspicious. I wouldn't want to make conjecture about that. I know of other detention facilities that don't appear in some of the spreadsheets that ICE has released, for example, under FOIA, listing supposedly all of their detention sites.
So what happens next? I mean, what's your next step? Do you actually have to now go to court and defend what you've done?
Yes, we do, unfortunately. I mean, we're now defendants in this case, and although, we're not being charged with any criminal offense, but we're being forced to spend scarce resources to defend our right just to do our jobs. We expect a hearing in the next few weeks.
We'll continue to follow it. Angela Godoy, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.